What's up? What is up? What's up, you guys? What's up, you guys? My name is Aaron Oster. I am a #1 best-selling author, an avid nerd of fantasy, and I've been stuck in my cave for an entire week.
Please send help.
But while being trapped here in my hermitual dwelling, I have come to realize something very important. You know what? I already knew this. I already planned this video out. I mean, who am I really fooling? Today we're going to talk about cover art and why it's so important and why you need something really cool on your cover to really get someone's attention, to stand out, for you to sell that book that you've been dying to sell but haven't been able to because the cover art has just been horrible. Now, I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions like, what should I put on my cover? Where do I even find a cover artist? What is too much to pay for cover art? And does it really matter? To answer that last question, though, yes, it does matter what you have on your book cover, and if you stick all the way to the end of the video, I'm going to tell you exactly where you can go to get your cover art done. The people that I am talking about are very good, fairly priced, and no, they are not sponsoring this video, but they're just that awesome. So with that said, let's get right into it. Oh, and also, the like button has not yet been destroyed, and I've noticed that that subscribe button is still a really bright blue. I want it to be or is it red? I don't know. Just subscribe too. Okay, so to start things off, let's talk about why it's so important that you have a good cover. Now, I'm sure that there are plenty of you saying,
"Didn't you hear? You're not supposed to judge a book by its cover."
My mom says that all the best books don't even need covers.
My books are good enough to sell without them.
well, let me tell you something. Unless you are already famous, a celebrity, or extremely lucky, you will need a good cover to sell that book. Because if you don't have an eye-catching cover, chances are no one's even going to look at it. So, the question is, what should you put on your cover? Now, there are a lot of things that you can put on your cover, and I'm going to just give you a few easy examples of things that really stand out, grab people's attentions, and are generally different than most things that you will see in the genre. I am, of course, talking about fantasy books, but this can work for a lot of other books. Too, thrillers, it can work for... I'm not going to say it can work for nonfiction because... yeah. But anyway, the #1 thing that really catches people's attentions are if you put one of the fight scenes in your book on the cover. That means your characters in various cool poses, throwing off big colorful attacks, and just generally making a big wow. You want to grab people's attention. So one of the main things that I've seen that people really don't put on their covers a lot is animals. I love putting animals on my covers because they really grab the attention. A lot of my books have a lot to do with monster hunting and just really predicated on the monsterish aspect of fantasy. So yes, I do have an animal or some type of magical creature on just about every single one of my covers. What you're going to see in a lot of fantasy is main characters posing up there, looking all intimidating like... You don't want to put that on your cover. You don't want anything like that on your cover because it's going to blend in with everybody else's. What you want is something that pops. So, a fight scene, something that is unique to your book. So, example, if you've got a unique landscape from, say, Monster Hunter World, like the Coral Highlands, it is a very unique looking place. And if you've got something like that on your cover, chances are it's really going to grab someone's attention. The important thing is, it's got to grab people's attentions. And if it's just a character standing there and posing and trying to look cool, really, just don't do that. And also, unless you are an established author, don't cheap out. Don't go buy a cover for $15, do it yourself in Amazon's DIY book cover thing. Don't do that because you're never going to sell anything. Very rarely have I seen an author who has never been heard of before just throw a book up there with a horrible cover from Amazon stock footage and actually do something with it. So, now that you've sort of got an idea of what you should be putting on your cover art, how do you find an artist and how do you convey to them what you want to see on your cover? So I'm going to be using my own cover as an example. Right up here, you can see my cover for Somerset. Yes, it is a very ridiculous sort of looking cover. Like I said, it is definitely an image that stands out. There's the main character and he's squaring off against a bunny in a martial arts gi. Where do you see that? You don't see it anywhere, which is why I chose this specific cover. Now, yes, this is less cool and more comedic, but it does convey the overall idea of the book. So what you're going to want to do is choose a scene. Now that you've got the scene, you're going to obviously have to contact a cover artist. So the people that I would recommend using is an amazing place. They're called WeBull Art. I'm going to leave their website link down below and I'm going to get into them more later. The first thing you're going to try and do is find reference images, something that the artist can go off of, giving the overall color scheme. It doesn't even have to match. You just have to find something that sort of, kind of looks like the idea you're going for. And I've found that most of the time, if the artist is good, they can go off of that and they can really get the idea if you give them a good enough description. Now, another thing that I will say is that whenever you're dealing with an artist, always give them the freedom to do what they want. Because yes, you can be specific with what you want on the cover, but if they do something different than what you really want, trust that they, as the artist, know how to portray the image better than you can. And yes, it took me a bit of time to realize that, but cover artists can most of the time get a cover looking way cooler than you originally thought. The colors, if you wanted something different, they can normally make them look better because they have a better idea of how colors mix and match. And really, you gotta be able to trust the artist. So now that you've got your reference images, you know what you want to be on the cover, now comes the part of contacting an artist, finding the right one for your fit, and how much should you be paying for a cover artist. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Any cover artist worth their salt, that means any decent cover artist is going to be charging you between $400 to $800 for a cover. Anything more than that is just too expensive, and anything under that, the chances are you're not going to get as good a quality. Now, I'm not saying that you can't find a really, really good cover artist for under that $400 mark, but if you're looking, that is the benchmark. That is what you should be expecting to pay for any good cover art, because the illustration typically takes between 2 and 2.5 weeks. That's a lot of the cover artist's time, and asking that much money really isn't that big of a deal when you take it into perspective that that $400 cover can boost your sales by 1,000%. Alright, so like I promised, for those of you who stuck around to the end of the video, I'm going to tell you exactly where you can get a good cover for a fair price with a fairly quick turnaround time, and they are almost always available. One thing I forgot to mention, if you're going to contact a cover artist, you normally want to contact them about 3 to 4 months before you put your book out, because they are normally booked up. So it's always smart to reach out in advance. Otherwise, you risk the chance of not getting the cover artist you want. So always, if you're planning on writing a book, if you've got an idea of when you want it to come out, always contact the cover artist a minimum of 3 months before you're going to put that book out. 4 months if you can manage it, and you've already got sort of an idea of what you want on the cover. So now, like I promised, here is a great place you can go to get your covers. They've done several covers for me, and I continue to use them because they have very good quality, they're amazing customer service, and they have continually put out really, really good covers, and they've been very consistent with their work. The place is called WeBull Art, MIBLART.com. You're just going to go to their website. They have a ton of options to choose from a cover design, which means they'll take stock images and they'll put it together and make it look really cool. Then they have the illustrated option, which means that you can have an artist actually go and paint the cover for you. And they have a whole bunch of other things that really help you out with as an author. They have they've got a whole bunch of stuff that can help. Just go to their website. You'll see they are absolutely amazing. No, they haven't sponsored the video, but they are amazing people to work with. And if you, as an author, don't know where to go to find a cover artist, this is a place that I can recommend. And as far as pricing goes, they are right at the low end of what is considered to be really affordable. It's around $400 for an illustrated cover, which is very worth it for the amount of time and effort it takes to put together such amazing looking covers. So with all of that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got a lot out of it and that I answered some questions that you had about trying to find a good cover artist. If you enjoyed the video, please just hit that like button, subscribe. I really want to get to be able to reach more people, and if you could recommend this video, tell people about the channel, it can really help me out. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.